We've got the transfer portal open and rocking. We got Ole Miss, the lone SEC team left standing. It is time to get the squad together.
You're talking ball with the SEC squad. From Alabama to Tennessee, from Georgia to Oklahoma, from Auburn to Texas, it's the local experts of the Locked On Podcast Network bringing you scoops, breakdowns, and the most comprehensive preview of the upcoming SEC weekend. It's the SEC squad, and we have a seat for you. Hurt feelings and thin skins are prohibited. Squad up, you're part of the SEC squad.
Up, everybody, welcome into the SEC squad. Sit back, grab your favorite beverage, and join us as we get you ready to talk another week of, well, at least one more week of SEC football action. We'll see if this carries over one more week as Ole Miss Rebels will take on the Miami Hurricanes Thursday night in Phoenix, Arizona. Let's welcome in our panel. We got Zach Blackerby from Locked On Auburn. We got Stephen Willis, the man of the hour, Locked On Ole Miss. Corey Burton from Locked On Vandy. Jimmy Stein, Locked On Bama. John Miller, Locked On Mizzou. I am Chris Gordy from Locked On SEC. And gentlemen, we'll get into the transfer portal and everything else, but we do have a football game happening this week. How did we get here? How is Ole Miss the last last SEC team standing?
They beat Georgia is how they're the last SEC team standing. And honestly, that was a very nice night in the Sugar Bowl. I had a good time. And it's really nice to be I don't know. I'm worried about throwing my back out, carrying the entire conference in football.
Oh, wow. Oh, man.
It's going to be rough. And the good news is Arkansas, Mississippi State, Missouri, everybody, if we can do it, you can do it. Don't let anybody tell you can't.
What about Vanderbilt? Come on.
You're screwed.
Oh, come on.
I mean, y'all are closer than anybody, right? This
I'm
year?
kidding.
Hey, if Northwestern thinks they can win with Chip Kelly, anything's possible, I'd say. I really do.
It is crazy though, guys. I mean, like it's, look, we're not all about conference pride everywhere we go, but like the Big Ten people, they've been squawking. And if the Big Ten wins a third straight championship, it's going to suck. So is anybody kind of pulling for Ole Miss here from the periphery?
Yeah, I'm pulling for Ole Miss. Yeah. Sure.
I'm definitely pulling for Ole Miss, mostly for my guy Steven, but also just to kind of ram it down Lane Kiffin's throat a little bit would be enjoyable. I don't know if Chris Gordy agrees with me, but I personally would enjoy that. And I have to admit, I did enjoy seeing Ole Miss pull the upset after the reaction show. I have to say, I was going, wait a second, Ole Miss plus 7.5 against Georgia. What I said was that was an Athens line, not a Sugar Bowl line. And I think that somewhat proved out. And obviously the takeaway is Trinidad Chambliss was just incredible in the ball game.
Yeah, that guy was surgical, man. And it was fun watching that game and watching him operate. And that offense was just humming, and those guys just rallied around Pete Golding, and that was great to see, given all the circumstances.
It was like a 5-play stretch there in the fourth quarter where Austin Simmons was like, "Oh, he's the best player on the field." Okay, like he has made that abundantly clear. He is absolutely balling. Miller, back to your point though about Kiffin. Like
I think he said Austin Simmons. He meant Trinidad Chambliss, obviously. Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah, that's yeah. Sure.
You were looking at me and thought of Austin, obviously.
Simmons was like, "Yeah, okay, Mizzou."
I get it.
He was looking at Como real estate.
Yeah,
he was definitely on Zillow during the game for sure.
I'm so thinking about transfer portal quarter. I'm actually mad we're not talking about Byron Brown yet. That's really why I'm shaking up.
We'll get there. We got to give Ole Miss their shine, though. This is.
I guess I just care more about Byron Brown than Ole Miss, but I totally get it.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, ask for this, right? Like everybody's pulling for Ole Miss to be anti-Lane Kiffin. Like any anti-Lane Kiffin propaganda, I think most college football fans are all about it. He asked for it. He asked for every bit of this, Stephen.
And see, I'm the contrarian.
And Golding
I'm the contrarian. That's the easy route to take. I'm the defend Lane Kiffin. Come on, like why is everybody so mean to shit on this guy?
You are definitely taking the road less traveled there. One thing's interesting. Everywhere you look is like the SEC is down. Oh, the SEC the dominance is gone. All of that, and I'm like, hey. We're still in the playoffs. We're in the Final Four. We could win the whole thing. And they're like, oh, the SEC, they'll just never be the same as what they were. It's the bias that Alabama and Georgia and these name brands not being in the game, it's completely showing through right now.
As far as the conference strength goes, guys, too, I wonder what these other leagues' bowl records might be if you took their best 5 teams out of the bowl lineup and then they played the bowls with the rest of what's left after their best 5 teams weren't really playing in all these bowls that the national media is pointing at, saying the SEC's down. Really, in most of these bowls, the 10th place SEC team is losing to like the 3rd place Big 12 team, and they say that that's a measure of conference strength. I'm not so sure that it is.
Nuance and context? No, they're not going to do that, though, Jimmy.
No,
There's no way. But you're absolutely right.
Wins and losses. Big Ten. I know Vanderbilt didn't help that cause in the ReliaQuest Bowl, but
In this weird universe, Texas did. Who knows?
Hey,
Well,
Auburn didn't hurt it this bowl season, so y'all are welcome for that.
The crazy thing is, I mean, LSU Houston was close. Tennessee Illinois was like a lot of games were close. The only one that really I give props they were pretty fully loaded was Vandy. They just had a terrible first half, played much better in the second half, but it was a little too late.
Missouri was close against Virginia, even though once again we could barely complete a forward pass the last month of the season. So I guess congrats to us.
Yeah, like judge Missouri on a quarterback that's definitely not going to be QB1. That seems.
And again, Virginia no worse than the 3rd best team in the ACC based on the regular season, and Missouri finishing somewhere around 9th in the SEC. I'm not so sure that's ACC versus SEC.
They should have won the ACC championship, but they let it slip away. We buried 2 SEC teams this past weekend. We know Georgia was close with Ole Miss and lost in the final seconds. But Jimmy Stein, your Alabama Crimson Tide got obliterated by Indiana. What happened?
Not going to defend that. I mean, it was a strange season for Alabama in the sense that it was bookended by what amounts to disasters. There was the disaster to open the season against Florida State. There was a disaster to end the season against Indiana. The 13 games in between were largely really good. I mean, it included a lot of the road win over Georgia, beating 4 ranked teams in a row, finishing the SEC regular season as the number 1 seed going into the SEC championship game, getting not only to the playoff, but winning a game in the playoff on the road. A lot of good things in those 13 games, but the bookends were literal disasters as far as the fans in Tuscaloosa are concerned.
As far as anybody's concerned, I haven't seen Alabama get shellacked like that in quite some time.
Yeah, it was a physical.
Jimmy, when's the last time that's happened?
Arkansas in 1998 was the last time they were beaten that badly, and Arkansas that year clearly is not what Indiana is this year. That was Mike Dubose' 2nd year at Alabama, and that was, I think, a September game. It's been that long. This was a physical beatdown at the line of scrimmage. There's no question. The line of scrimmage was going to be Alabama's emphasis in the transfer portal. That just put some exclamation points on it. But I will give a shout out to Indiana. They're very good. That's a great combination of talent plus execution plus drive, and the ultimate collection of where the sum is greater than the parts. They've got great chemistry. They play together. They absolutely whipped Alabama up front on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, you said it was a strange season for Alabama, and I would agree with that. It's a really strange season when Indiana is 14-0. That's the most bizarre season in the history of their program, if you consider that an outlier, which it obviously is.
Bud Elliott wakes up in a cold sweat looking at their roster.
Does this give the SEC hope, though? Like this magical run that Ole Miss is having, and let's see how much further they can go, but like, maybe a Mizzou could break through one year. Maybe an Auburn, Zach, could break through. I mean, does this give you hope?
Gives me hope. I'm not going to speak for the great Zach Blackerby, but it does give me hope for sure. I think if Missouri just hits on the quarterback, they've been close in the past, close on Jaden Daniels, close on Fernando Mendoza. They just can't quite close at the end. Maybe Austin Simmons is the right guy. I dunked on Lane Kiffin earlier. I hope he's right, because he praised Austin Simmons before he left the Rebels just about a month ago, or a couple months ago now at this point. So I hope Lane's right about that one. It wasn't just propaganda.
Yeah, and going against Auburn won a national title like 15 years ago. So, of course, Auburn can do it.
Sure.
They play for another one.
Maybe play for another one a few years later. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe Kentucky. There's hope for Kentucky, hope for South Carolina, those schools.
Starts a quarterback. Start there.
100%.
You got a great quarterback.
Pavia.
Such a game changer.
Yeah, Pavia's coming back. No, just kidding.
Byron Brown.
Well, we're gonna get to the portal, but as we close out this segment, quick show of hands: are you taking Ole Miss to beat Miami? Raise your hand.
Yeah, why not?
Ooh, clean
Why not?
sweep! All 6 of us.
Yeah.
Wow. Ruben Bain just got some bulletin board material over there for the U, but
Yeah, whatever that is. Yeah.
What do you guys like on the other side? Raise your hand if you like Indiana over Oregon.
I don't think Oregon has much of a chance. Honestly.
I like Indiana.
So 4-2. We like
30
Indiana.
to 20 first time around. That was in Austin, and I think Indiana's playing better now than they were then.
Yeah, I'm just rooting for Oregon, so it'd be Oregon versus Ole Miss, so it'd be the all-vowel national championship game.
Be a hell of a uniform combo too.
Indiana, Indiana vowel too.
As long as we can just get out of the maroon thing, that's my deal. Too much maroon.
Yeah.
When we return here, guys, we're going to get into the portal. We'll talk about big names coming back and big names coming to the portal. I mean, that pipeline from USF to Auburn is churning. We will discuss that.
Red hot, baby.
Here on
Watch
our
out.
SEC Squad Show. Hey, real quick, guys, the wild card round is here. And FanDuel, they are officially in playoff mode every game day during the NFL playoffs. FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, every NFL playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. What does that mean? Well, each game day, you'll see a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts you can apply to the bets that you like most. You open the profit boost pack, you pick the boost that you want to apply and use your game day instincts. Whether you're back in momentum, defense, quarterback play, whatever it is, the boost will give you more juice on the bets you already like instead of forcing you to bet something new. Every play feels bigger, and the boost will make your bets feel that way too. You make your picks, apply your profit boost to go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day with FanDuel. All right, gents, we get into it. The transfer portal is rocking and rolling, and we have got a lot of the quarterback pictures starting to shore up around the SEC. First, we find out Trinidad Chambliss has announced he's going to come back to Ole Miss if he gets that 6-year waiver. So Stephen will certainly be keeping an eye on that. But Zach, you got your quarterback this week, Byron Brown from USF.
Yes. Looks like a goat out there, the way he plays football. I mean, production all over the place, right? Like only a handful of quarterbacks have passed for 3,000 and rushed for 1,000 in a single season. Obviously, he did that under Goalish and Joel Gordon at USF a year ago. But my favorite thing, like we all know what the stats are, and you can look at the eye test. Like clearly, Byron Brown is going to be a tough to tackle player and all of that. But the thing, just from the Auburn perspective, I'm so excited about is I don't have to twist and turn and try to sell any sort of like quarterback potential this summer. I don't have to say, oh, well, Jackson Arnold was really good coming out of high school and he was in a terrible situation in Oklahoma, or well, Peyton Thorne was good 2 years ago and then all of his NFL guys left and he was just mad. I'm so happy, guys. I don't have to do that anymore.
I'm
I
happy for you.
The production that's actually there. So that's yeah, Alex Goalish forever.
It's funny you talk about Byron Brown right after Trinidad Chambliss, but those type quarterbacks are extremely difficult to defend. That not only are they super athletic and quality passers, they make good decisions. And those are the toughest guys to defend. A defense can do everything they're coached to do. Those guys still make a play. Very dangerous quarterback, and Alabama's faced Byron Brown a couple times. He rushed for over 100 yards last time they played him, and he helped make the games close both times. He's an SEC player. I fully believe that.
Yeah, he beat as many SEC teams as Auburn did last year.
Well, he'll have some familiar players. I think like half the receiving core from USF is coming over to Auburn as well. So
Yes.
Be interesting to watch that.
No need to build continuity. It's already there.
John Miller, you got your quarterback. You kind of touched on it already, but Austin Simmons, got to be excited about that. Stephen was raving about Austin Simmons all summer.
I love Austin Simmons. I think he's going to be a great guy.
I'm really interested. He's a really interesting piece, a really high upside prospect. Even Steven told me he thinks he's got, one of one, number one overall pick type of talent even. And I'll just say that's the consensus coming out of Ole Miss. I've never had so many fans. I mean, really, this is not even remotely an exaggeration. I'm getting 50 to 100 times as many messages about Austin Simmons from Ole Miss fans as I've ever gotten about any other player who's come from the portal. I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe I just made a brilliant short that went viral, and I'll give myself the credit. But seriously, I've been stunned by how much real love has come from the Rebels fans, not only but because, well, they like his talent as a player, his skill set as a player, but apparently just a great guy too, who was able to graduate high school at like 16 years old, got an undergrad degree from Oxford at 19, that type of thing. So just an impressive young man. And most importantly to me, it seemed like last year, while I was actually kind of higher on Bo Prabula, I think, than a lot of people. The reality is Drinkwitz kind of settled on him a little bit. He was going after other guys, notably, like I already pointed out, Mendoza. Hey, Indiana closed on him before Missouri could get him on campus. You see that happen all the time in the portal. But the fact that Drinkwitz sought out Simmons, closed the deal early in the process, I think that's going to pay dividends also for just planning for the rest of this process here over the next couple weeks.
Yeah, John, it's got to help, and same with Zach with two quarterbacks of that caliber. It's got to help with recruiting. I mean, Jared Curtis is not a portal quarterback, but I mean, Vandy's got some pretty impressive pieces out of the portal so far, and they've got a couple of receivers visiting that are going to be really dynamic pieces, and it's all because Jared Curtis. So having that quarterback, Austin Simmons, Byron Brown. Like those quarterbacks can attract top talent, and guys will want to go to Missouri or go to Auburn to play with those guys.
Yeah, those guys want to win. It's not just about the offensive skill guys either, to your point.
Jimmy, let me go to you next.
Real quick, one thing with Austin Simmons. This is a guy that got Wally pipped at Ole Miss, did nothing wrong and lost his starting job. And instead of throwing a temper tantrum, being a bad teammate, he actually worked with Trinidad Chambliss and helped get him to the point he is right now. That is the reason Ole Miss fans love him, because of what he went through and how he handled it.
That was an old infielder for the Yankees back in the day, for people who don't get the Wally Pipp reference. Jimmy, I want to throw in Bama, because as of this recording, Ty Simpson has not made a decision yet, but there's some talk that if he doesn't go pro, the door might be closed at Bama. They may go, you know what, thanks, but no thanks, Ty. Tennessee could get in the mix. Is it the Keelan Russell era? Is it Austin Mack? Where's Bama going?
I don't believe that's the case. I think Ty's real alternatives that he's considering is either entering the NFL draft, and he'll make a decision on that probably in the next 2 days. Could come as soon as tomorrow, or even who knows, but very soon. I think if Ty does not enter the NFL draft, he'll return to Alabama. I don't really buy a lot into that transfer talk. Sources close to Ty don't indicate that in terms of who we've dealt with. I expect Ty to enter the draft as my expectation, but if he does not, I think it's a return to Alabama.
If he returns, what happens with Keelan Russell? Because this is the day and age of nobody wants to sit and wait.
Right. I think Austin Mack would be almost certain to leave if Ty returns, because Austin Mack will be a redshirt junior this fall. He's ready to start, and Alabama's quarterback coach is now the offensive coordinator at Michigan State. I would look for maybe Austin Mack to move on to Michigan State should Ty return. I don't believe Keelan Russell's going anywhere. Keelan was asked by the media during Rose Bowl prep, do you plan to enter the portal if Ty returns? And he said no. Now, does that, there's been other players that have said the same thing, and then they were in the portal on day one. But the expectation is that Keelan Russell would not leave, that he would have, one more year of patience and play quite a bit as QB2 with the fifth-year senior like Ty.
And Steven, it sounds like if Trinidad does not get that 6 year of eligibility, you're going to get Zach's stud recruit in Deuce Knight potentially coming to Oxford.
That is the rumor out there. It feels like that's going pretty good. And I would expect another quarterback on top of that. We don't even know who that would be, but they would stack that room a little bit. I do believe, but I think Deuce Knight is a real possibility for the Ole Miss team.
And just to catch everybody up on the other moves, so I assume Gunnar Stockton will make an announcement. He's come back to Georgia. I can't imagine he wouldn't be back. Yeah. Zach ducking out, by the way.
Bye, Zach.
Texas A&M, Marcel Reed announced he's coming back. We know Arch Manning announced he's coming back to Texas. John Mateer, I would expect an announcement from him very soon. He's come back from Oklahoma. I can't imagine he would go pro. Tennessee, the Joey Aguilar thing, he's applied for another year. Don't know if he's going to get it. So where does Josh Heupel and company go there? LSU, as of this recording, they're hosting Sam Leavitt from Arizona State. We'll see what happens if they get him. Kentucky goes against Kenny Minchie from Notre Dame, flipped him from Nebraska. That was wild. Florida brought in Aaron Philo, the backer from Georgia Tech. He's going to compete with the guys in-house. Mississippi State, Kamario Taylor, all signs point to him being the guy moving forward. And then South Carolina, Lenore Sellers back. And then Arkansas, sounds like they'll go with the young guy. So that's kind of the landscape of the SEC, but pretty crazy, guys. We're going to have a lot of the same guys back next year.
Yeah, it's really been the trend, not just in the SEC, but seemingly throughout the country. Some of it is certainly money. We all saw, I think, the Brendan Sorsby headlines, him getting $5 million from the landman in Texas Tech. But I think the trend is just quarterbacks. You mentioned it, Gordy and others, like guys like John Mateer. I think the smart money these days, figuratively speaking, not the literal money, but the smart thinking is that you need time. You need a little bit more seasoning. If you really want to be great in the NFL, you really want to cash in on the true big bucks of that league. Well, experience is it's not everything, but man, it's incredibly important. It's almost a prerequisite these days because there's not a ton of examples of guys with, 10 starts or less or fewer, I should say, coming in and dominating the league.
You're going to have some high approval ratings in the offseason for most of these SEC teams, their quarterback. Seems to me that most likely, too soon to know for sure, but most likely just about every team in the league is going to be excited about who they have. Who knows how it's going to play out, how the season will play out. But I think Missouri's going to be excited about Austin Simmons. Ole Miss going to be excited about Chambliss or Deuce Knight. Corey and his folks certainly excited about Jared Curtis. Alabama's going to be excited with Ty returning or Keelan Russell. Georgia, Gunner Stock. You can go down the whole list. Arch Manning. Everyone's going to be
South Carolina with Lenora Sellers and Kendall Briles.
That's going to be that's very
interesting
about that.
Yeah. I don't know that anybody in the league is going to go like, gosh, we're just not good at quarterback. In terms of saying it this summer, they might say it after the fall starts, but all summer, I think there's going to be a lot of optimism throughout the entire league.
Let me throw this out too. Everybody's just assuming the consensus preseason Heisman favorites Arch Manning. What if Trinidad wins a few more games here and comes back to Ole Miss? Trinidad Chambliss could be the favorite for the Heisman next year.
If Trinidad comes back, if he gets the waiver, he'll be a favorite to win the Heisman Trophy next year.
That's a great call.
Mm-hmm.
All right, when we return, gents, we will talk a little bit more on the transfer portal. I'll get your thoughts on what name intrigues you most that either your school or another school has picked up so far in the portal. We'll discuss that more with the squad coming your way next. And first, I want to remind you guys about our friends over at Rugiet. We got to talk about something that men don't bring up, but you absolutely should. It's stress from work, it's money, it's life. It just doesn't switch off at night. When it shows up at the worst possible time, Rugiet Ready is designed to help you take back control. Rugiet Ready is a next-generation prescription treatment created to support both the brain and the body so you can feel present, confident, and ready when the moment matters. Rugiet Ready, they combine 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 mint that dissolves under your tongue so it absorbs fast, and the science behind Rugiet Ready stands out. 3 clinically proven ingredients in 1 formula designed for both mental and physical readiness. You connect with a board-certified doctor online. Everything ships discreetly to your door. Most men are ready in about 15 minutes on average, so you can stay present, confident, and in control when the moment is right. Corey knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you've been thinking about taking the next step, now is the time. Head to Rugiet.com/LockedOnCollege. That's RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege. Get 15% off your order for a limited time. Rugiet Ready. Feel present, feel confident, and feel ready with Rugiet. All right, we jump back into it with our Corey's always ready. We jump back into it here. I want to remind you guys, too, if you've been thinking about or if you're an everydayer on any of our Locked On shows, thank you for making us your first listen every day. And thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. But if you haven't already, go check out our new Everydayer Club and get your favorite Locked On show with no interruptions, members-only Discord access, and more, all for just $5 a month or $50 for a year. All you got to do is check our link in the show notes to learn more on your favorite Locked On show. You want to talk one-on-one with John Miller? He'll be right there on the Discord channel, so check it out. Guys, I wanted to pose it to you because, man, this transfer portal is humming and going 100 miles per hour right now. But We talked about the quarterbacks, but there have been other moves, wide receivers, running backs, everything else. Give me the transfer portal move you've liked most, whether it's your school or another school.
Well, I'll start out the retention. Obviously, Trinidad Chambliss, Kewan Lacey, getting those guys back when everybody was worried about them leaving. That was probably the biggest news. The transfer portal, the players coming in, I really like Chris Jones, the linebacker out of Southern Miss. He's from Hartsfield Academy. He's a thumper. He wanted to come to Ole Miss. He went to Southern Miss and worked his way up. It's kind of like the minor league system that the G5 has become. He took advantage of that. And then Jaheim Otis. He is somebody that would have been at Ole Miss a year ago, but his price was a little bit too high. Either Ole Miss came up with a little bit more money this time, or his price went a little bit down. He's somebody that is perfect for the Pete Golding defense and kind of slides him 1-to-1 for Xavier Harris after he graduates.
On the Missouri side, you know what? I'm going to say a former Oregon kid, Jaleel Florence, cornerbacks, a taller corner, 6'1", like Missouri likes to recruit. He's a guy who got off to a great start with Oregon, was playing early, and then his sophomore season seemed like he broke out, and then he's been just, well, snake bit with injury, missed all of 24, played just one game in 25. I think there's a real chance, especially since he's had so much time now to recover, that Missouri could have really found a diamond in the rough here in 2026. And if they have, that's a big deal because Missouri is losing its top 3 corners from what was an excellent defense this past season.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with Vanderbilt filling some really big needs and getting some top guys at those positions, like Bo Johnson, coming from the offensive line factory that is North Dakota State. 6'6", 300-pound guy with great feet, dominating run blocking. I mean, that's the piece you needed to pick up to protect and help get things going on the offensive line and to help protect Jared Curtis. The Eli Stowers replacement was the one I think everyone was just kind of curious about and just anticipating. And Javante Connor from East Carolina fits that bill, athletic, flex-type tight end. Everybody's excited about him and the athleticism that he brings. So, I think, and then you add Kobe Sellers from Texas A&M. The first time Vanderbilt has plucked an SEC transfer portal guy, 4-star kid out of high school coming to play corner. Like, this is probably the highest quality portal haul that Clark Lee has ever gotten. And it's still going. And the one that intrigues me is Nitro Tuggle is visiting. And that'll be an interesting get if they can land him.
Yeah, Alabama's best get to this point is Hollywood Smothers. He's a running back from North Carolina State. He was a first-team All-ACC this past year as a redshirt sophomore, rushed for nearly 1,000 yards, a big-time playmaker, several home runs he hit from the NC State backfield, catches the ball well. Alabama had tremendous trouble running the ball this year. I don't think it's just the talent at running back, though that was a factor. I think it's up front, the blocking from the tight end, maybe overall scheme. But adding a Hollywood Smothers, now you at least check the box of if you can't run the ball now, it's not the running back. I think Hollywood Smothers, despite the fact Alabama will return some veterans, Smothers is RB1 day one at Alabama this spring and fall.
Elite name, by the way, Hollywood Smothers.
Second Hollywood. He joins Hollywood Williams, Ryan Hollywood Williams. Not related, though they have the same first name.
I'm gonna give some love to Kentucky real quick because I like Will. First off, I like Will Stein. What is he, like 34? Like he's like super young. And I mean, look at Oregon. The offense has been great, but he's going out and hitting the portal hard at Kentucky. It's gonna look very different at Kentucky this coming year. You get Kenny Minchie, a quarterback from Notre Dame, but they go and get the #1 center in the portal in Colton Price from Baylor. And then they go get Javante Barnes, the running back from Oklahoma, who's had like over 1,000 yards rushing at Oklahoma in this time there. Like they're adding these little pieces here and there. And I go, okay, Kentucky, maybe they're not that easy out in 2026. They might be a little bit of a problem for some people.
I like the aggression in the portal. I mean, that's new. I mean, them being this aggressive, going after the same names that the other elite SEC programs are pursuing. That's a little new for them.
They usually just get the scrappy guys. They're kind of like Vandy. They're just going to get the scrappy, unheralded guys that they get to overachieve. And this time they're going after studs. I mean, that center from Baylor is who I wanted Vanderbilt to get because they need to replace their center in Jordan White. So that's somebody I wanted Vanderbilt to go after. And he landed at Kentucky, I was like, oh dang, okay, good get for them.
Before we get out of here real quick, at the press conference at the Fiesta Bowl, Joe Judge was asked about the coaches back and forth, the chaotic nature of all that. His reply was, my neighbor next door in New England was Aaron Hernandez, and I know that this is still more chaotic.
Oh, wow.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got a serial killer situation going on in Oxford, apparently.
Yeah. At least we know Lane Kiffin hasn't killed anybody. At least we know of. So that's so he's got that going for him. At least he's likable from that standpoint. But one more portal name I'll put out there: Hollywood Smothers is going in. How about Rocky Beers, tight end, going to Oklahoma? I think that's.
I like him already.
Yes.
Yep.
He needs that NIL deal from Coors Light, and we'll be rocking and rolling.
Well, apparently it's part of a trio. His sister plays basketball at Oklahoma, and then his other brother, Rowdy Beers, plays at FIU. I'm like, get his butt to Oklahoma too.
Okay.
Whole beer family.
That's not an NIL deal with Coors Light. That is an NIL deal with PBR.
Yeah, I was just going with the Rocky
Beers. Now Chris is just making up names. There's no way.
Rocky Beers and Rowdy Beers and Reagan.
No, Rowdy Beers, I could see that because many colleges, there's probably people that get pretty rowdy when they drink too much beer.
Yeah. How does Rowdy Beers not go to an SEC school?
Seriously.
How is Rowdy Beers and Rocky Beers not a tag team duo in WWE?
Might be.
No, that's not WWE. That would be like whatever the third level down is.
ECW or whatever?
Yeah.
Hey,
Does WWE have a G League?
Yeah,
NXT.
Remember the old Kentucky linebacker, Cash Daniels? He was wrestling for a while, so maybe they got something there.
And before we get out of here, please quit referring to what Trinidad Chambliss did against Georgia as a Johnny Manziel play. That was an Archie Manning.
It was Manziel. That's all. That's our best.
That was an Archie Manziel play. There you go.
Yeah, it's Archie Manning on Archie's field.
Could be Jane Daniels. Could have been that. Thank you guys for tuning into today's SEC Squad show. Make sure you follow and subscribe to your favorite SEC podcast show to get all your latest episodes. And if you never miss an episode, the Everydayer Club is built for you. Get your favorite Locked On show ad-free, plus members-only Discord access and more. Just head to the link in the show notes below to join the club. For Stephen Willis, Jimmy Stein, Corey Burton, John Miller, and Zach Blackerby, who jumped out early, I'm Chris Gordy. This has been SEC Squad Show. We'll talk to you guys next week. Come on back and see us.
Peace.